Joining me today, I have two lovely ladies. I have Linda Vickers. She is a certified wellness coach of her business, Just Pause Coaching Practice. And I also have Terry Warburton. She is the clinical director of Recovery of Hope. Now, these two have collaborated. First of all, Terry and Linda, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thanks for
You're
having
welcome.
us.
Great to be here.
So, you guys are putting on in a collaboration a series called Just Pause Mental Health Workshop Series. There are two, I believe. I would love to hear about some details.
Okay. Did you want to go first, Terry?
Well, I guess I can speak on Recovery of Hope side of things.
Sure.
We're a team of about 24 counselors. Our hub is in Winnipeg, and we have offices in Steinbach and Winkler with an amazing, very professional crew of counselors who are really good at supporting people. But we also realize that counseling might not be what somebody wants to do this time of year or maybe can't afford it, although Recovery of Hope does try to make things as affordable as possible. So we decided that it would be really great to partner with Linda because she offers these really supportive personal workshops. So, yeah, Linda, why don't you say more about your workshops that you're offering through Recovery of Hope?
Okay, so thanks, Terry. The first workshop is called Let It Go, Let It Go. Just reducing stress at Christmas. And we all have enough stress. And many of us are working two jobs and just our calendars are full. And then Christmas comes along and there's all the extra parties, the extra expectations, the extra time that's needed to shop and all that. And so how do we um, just learn to enjoy and simplify so that we can enjoy Christmas again? Because we've kind of got lost in the muddle of all of it. And so that's basically what the first workshop is about, just learning to simplify and just let go of what we don't need to do and really focus on what matters. Um,
I think that's a
stress
great idea for sure.
and stress is like 80% of 80% of all illness is due to stress. And I was thinking the other day, maybe that's why so many people get sick in January. Like and that's an annual kind of a thing. A lot of people get sick in January, but we're so run down, running around, trying to get the newest decor and the newest outfit and the best gifts and trying to wrap up Christmas as a gift to our families. And we've kind of lost where our focus is.
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely. Go ahead, Terry.
well, I was just going to say, it's a really good point, Linda. And part of that is these expectations and
Hmm.
comparison, and,
Hmm.
which can stretch us emotionally, financially, physically, psychologically, spiritually, like in every area. And to be able to take a moment, attend a workshop or take a moment just to slow it right down. It's like, hey, what is important? What really matters here?
I like to.
This is, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so often during Christmas, we've got this big long list of what we need to do and we're running. But self-care isn't selfish. And I think we've thought of it that way, but we need to look after ourselves so that we have the energy and the ability and the rest that we need so that we can um, enjoy our families and just enjoy the time that we have with them.
I think that's great advice. This is happening November 22nd. Where is it? How can people register? How long is it?
It's going to be Saturday, November 22nd. Yeah, that's this Saturday, 10 to 12. And it's right in the office at Recovery of Hope. And that's on Harrow Street.
In Winnipeg.
In Winnipeg.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Yes,
lovely.
in Winnipeg. And people can call and just register. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. You have another one as well, December 6th. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, the second workshop is called A Silent Night. grief and grace in the season. And I call it a silent night because when we're grieving for whatever reason, um, it seems like everything changes. There's an empty chair, and so much of Christmas is with tradition, and we just don't know how to do Christmas without the people that we love. And people can be missing for all kinds of reasons. But we can get lost in trying to do what we've always done. It's tradition, so we've always done it that way. And tradition is comfort. And so when we lose that, we kind of like, well, what do I do now? And we're scrambling, and it's just sometimes easier to back up and like, I don't want to do anything. So if we can figure it out and choose the activities that we really enjoy with the family, the people we love, then we can still build a Christmas around that. We don't have to just throw everything out, and just focus on what matters.
When it comes to grief, can it be that it's more than just not that, the death of a loved one is very real, but can it be more than that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Grief grief can be a loss of any kind. It can be a divorce where we lose half a family, really, and then grandparents are kind of lost and don't know how to connect with the grandkids anymore. And the kids are grieving too. They're going in different directions. Um, yeah, divorce is a big one, and it's not necessarily thought of with grief, but that's a big one. Um, and everyone grieves differently. So when we are together as a family, even if we're grieving the same person or the same situation, we could be doing it completely different because we've had different relationship with those people or with that person. So that's always it always seems strange. Um, we want to be with people, we don't want to be with people. Um, we want to talk about the person, we don't want to talk about the person. So it can be a real mix of stuff. And so if everyone's not grieving the same way, we don't it's difficult to understand, and sometimes it's difficult to recognize that the person's actually grieving. They're not just having a bad day, they're not just
Mm.
being cranky today.
Mm.
They're grieving
Well,
because
and I think,
things aren't the same. Oh, go ahead, Terry.
well, I was just going to say, and I think sometimes people have these overwhelming feelings and don't actually know what it is.
Yeah.
And it can be grief, because grief comes with any change. Change comes something new, but it also there are losses. And sometimes what we don't see is harder to recognize as a loss and as a grief. And a lot of people I've talked to over the years, they come in for a session in November, December, and just want Christmas to be over, the holidays to be over, just land in January, not have to deal with anything. And I was thinking about families that we gather with. Sometimes that's really uncomfortable. And we're not looking forward to that. We're seeing people that we don't see very often. And there's those extra stresses as well. And I like to talk about our family of origin versus our family of choice. And sometimes our families of origin, or people in our families of origin, are not the ones that are really supportive and that we feel safe around. But we can choose our family, the people who we feel get us. And that doesn't have to be a lot of people. It can be one or two, but it matters to be together. And just the being together piece, I think, is such a big part of coping with all of this. We all need connection.
Hmm.
Well said. Both you ladies, well said. Thank you. Obviously, you're going to share this in these workshops, which is fantastic. But any quick tips on making the Christmas holiday season lighter for people who feel deeply stressed and or are grieving?
I would really say just to be kind to yourself. Just to now my business name is called Just Pause, but I'm really dedicated to that theory to just pause. And slow down and enjoy the day, enjoy the time. Um, Go for a walk outside and really be mindful of what's happening and listen to the crunching snow. Just listen and enjoy what we have. It doesn't have to be a big deal. We can enjoy what's right in front of us, and that's I think one of the biggest things. Just to just pause. Um, there's all kinds of like I said earlier about large groups and small groups, and we want to be with people and we don't, and we can choose and decide what we want to do, and what's going to fit. It can make a big difference on how we can enjoy the season. And even um, we do tend to get nostalgic this time of year because of what brings us comfort is our families and our memories. And there was a psychological study done that being around nostalgic items like grandma's tea set, whatever, but something nostalgic will bring us comfort in this season. So even to go somewhere where there's some antiques and where they have a display of old toys, and it's like, oh, I remember getting that toy. Just to find comfort in the season that way. Yeah,
That is really unique. I've never heard that. Thanks, Linda.
yeah,
Terry,
yeah.
any thoughts?
Well, what I was thinking of, just connecting with what Linda was saying, sometimes some of us are hard on ourselves and we don't think
Mhm.
we deserve, to take care of ourselves or just pause. And sometimes a good thing to consider is, what would I be advising a friend in this situation? And then try to turn that caring and empathy and gentleness back onto ourselves. Just try. Sometimes it helps. We tend to find our empathy and caring much quicker for another person than we do for ourselves. And just to try to, just pause and slow that down and just try to give that to ourselves.
I'm going to ask this next question for all you women who are listening and watching who might not be grieving something specifically this year, who have often enjoyed Christmas, but it's feeling a little heavier, just all the expectations and everything that has to be done. What would you say to those women who are thinking, can I say no to some of these things that are just too much?
I would say it can be hard. It can be
Mhm.
hard for many of us, especially as women, to say no. But I think that we can feel it in our gut when there's a no. And I think to take a moment before we say yes, when we're feeling obligated to say yes, to just pause and listen to our own instincts, because our instincts are generally pretty good indicators of whether there's truly a sure and a big yes, or whether there's a no, and just finding a kind way to say no.
Yeah, yeah. And too, if there's an event that you really have to go to and we're overwhelmed with just all this stuff, um, when we go, we have control of when we exit. So that's the advantage of going somewhere. If big crowds are overwhelming this time of year, sometimes it's easier to invite just a couple of friends over, and the special friends that really matter and that we're the closest to, and really enjoy the time with them. Sometimes in a big crowd, we don't have the intimate conversations anyways, but there's a couple of ideas anyway.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for your time. Really appreciate it. And I think this workshop series is important for so many. And
Yeah.
so I just want to say to any of those people watching at all, you're not alone if this season doesn't bring you joy immediately and it actually often feels stressful. You're not alone. Ladies, is there anything else that you wanted to end with?
Um, I think it's important to really simplify and remember what the season's about. Because that can get lost.
And I would add to that, some times when it's really hard, just one moment at a time, one day at
Mm-hmm.
a time. Can I get through this next thing? Can I do this next thing? But also with it in mind that I actually don't have to do everything. We can find the no's that are in us in addition to the yeses.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for what you do and what you bring to the table. If people want to take the part of the workshops, you said there's a number to call. Terry, do you have that?
Yes, it is. It's 204-477-4673. And if they forget that, you can just Google search Recovery of Hope or EdenHealthcare.ca and search under events, and you'll see all the information there.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you again for taking the time today.
Thanks,
Thanks a
Sylvia.
lot, Sylvia.